Mark, I want you to imagine something with me, a moment that every English learner has experienced at some point in their life.
Okay, go.
You're standing in front of someone important, a new boss, a client, a job interviewer, someone whose opinion matters. They look at you, they ask you a simple question, the kind of question you've answered 100 times before, in casual conversation without any problem. And in that moment, you open your mouth and nothing comes out. You search for the word, you know it, you used it yesterday, but right now, in this exact moment, the word is gone. Not difficult to find, gone, like someone walked into your brain and deleted it.
And here's the worst part. Sometimes it's not an advanced word that disappears. Sometimes it's the simplest possible word, apple, yesterday, tired, the kind of word a 6-year-old knows. And it has vanished completely.
And the learner, in that frozen moment, often thinks the same horrible thought. I have lost my English. Everything I studied, everything I built, all of it is gone, right when I need it most.
And here is what almost no one tells learners. This is not a memory problem. This is not a vocabulary problem. This is not a sign that your English is weak.
This is a nervous system problem, and the neuroscience behind it is genuinely fascinating because what's happening in that moment is not that your English disappeared, it is that your brain physically locked the door to your English as a survival response.
And once you understand the lock, you can learn to unlock it. Not always instantly, but reliably, with specific techniques that work because they work with your nervous system instead of against it.
And today, we are going to explain exactly what is happening inside your brain in that frozen moment. We are going to give you the science of why simple English words disappear under stress. And we are going to share 3 hacks that genuinely work. Not platitudes, not just relax. Real, specific neuroscience-based techniques that you can use the next time you feel the lockdown coming.
Welcome to Side by Side English Podcasts. I'm Mark.
I'm Sophie. Today is for the B2 or C1 learner who has stood in front of someone important and watched their own English vanish, who has frozen on a sales call, blanked in a job interview, forgotten the word for apple right when it mattered most. We are going to show you that you didn't fail. Your nervous system did exactly what it was designed to do, and we are going to give you the tools to override it.
Stay with us. We have the Broca's area lockdown explained in detail, the survival brain versus language brain framework, the 3-step nervous system hack to recover your English in real time, a role play showing what the lockdown sounds like and how to break it, and a word tour with 6 powerful B2 to C1 words.
Quick comment/question before we begin. Have you ever forgotten a simple English word at a high-stakes moment? Drop a yes or no. We genuinely want to see how universal this experience is.
Okay, let's open the brain. So, Sophie, let's start with the central science. What is actually happening in the brain when you blink on English under stress?
Okay, so when you experience stress, especially the sudden, sharp stress of a high-stakes moment, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is your body's main stress response. It floods your bloodstream within seconds of perceiving a threat, and then it floods your brain.
And cortisol has a very specific job. It is part of what's called the fight or flight response. Its purpose is to keep you alive when there's danger, which is wonderful when the danger is a tiger or a falling rock, but less wonderful when the danger is a job interview.
Because the brain cannot tell the difference between real physical danger and perceived social danger. To your nervous system, the eyes of a powerful person looking at you and waiting for your answer is essentially the same as a tiger walking up to you. Same response, same chemicals, same shutdown sequence.
And here is where it gets specific. When cortisol floods your brain, it physically reduces blood flow to a specific area called the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is where your higher thinking happens, your planning, your reasoning, your language production, including a critical zone called Broca's area, which is where your speech is constructed.
And Broca's area is where the words you've learned in English live, where they're retrieved, where they're assembled into sentences, where they become speech. So when cortisol reduces blood flow to that area, your access to English drops dramatically. Words become harder to find. Sentences become harder to construct. Speech becomes slow, broken, or completely impossible.
And this is not a memory issue. The words are still there, stored, available. They have not gone anywhere. What has changed is your access to them. The door to Broca's area has been partially closed.
And the more important the moment, the more cortisol your brain releases, the more closed the door becomes, which is why the most important English conversations of your life are often the ones where your English performs the worst. It is not bad luck, it is biology.
And here's the other part of the science. While cortisol is closing the door to Broca's area, it is opening a different door. The door to your amygdala, your fear center, your survival brain. That part of your brain becomes hyperactive, hypervigilant, hyper-focused on threat.
Which means in that frozen moment, your brain is not thinking about English. It is scanning for threats, looking at the other person's face, looking for signs of danger, trying to keep you alive. The part of your brain that handles language has been deprioritized. The part that handles survival has taken over.
And this gives us a powerful way to think about the lockdown, the survival brain versus the language brain. When stress hits, the survival brain wins, the language brain loses, always, because that's how your nervous system evolved over millions of years.
And until you do something to calm the survival brain, the language brain stays locked.
Let's actually break down the symptoms of the lockdown, because I think when learners hear them named, they immediately recognize their own experience.
Yes, 4 classic symptoms.
Symptom 1, simple words vanish.
This is the hallmark of stress lockdown, not advanced words, simple ones, apple, yesterday, friend, because under cortisol, your brain is rationing access, and even the words you use every day become slow to retrieve.
Symptom 2, grammar collapses.
Tense usage breaks down, articles disappear, sentence structure becomes scrambled because grammar requires the prefrontal cortex, which just lost most of its blood flow.
Symptom 3, listening drops too.
Many learners notice that under stress, they suddenly can't understand the other person either. The native speaker in front of them sounds 3 times faster than usual. Words blur together because comprehension also relies on the same brain regions that cortisol just shut down.
Symptom 4, physical signs.
Sweating, shaking hands, dry mouth, pounding heart, tight chest. These are all classic symptoms of the cortisol stress response, and they often arrive at the exact moment your English vanishes because they're caused by the same chemical flood.
4 symptoms, and if you have experienced even 2 or 3 of them at once, that was nervous system lockdown, not English failure, not memory failure. Biology.
And the moment learners understand this, something shifts in how they relate to those moments because they stop blaming themselves. They stop thinking, I am stupid, I should know this word. They start thinking, my nervous system is firing. I need to calm it down, then my English will come back.
Which brings us to the HOX, the 3-step nervous system reset. Because the good news in all of this is that the same biology that locks the door also gives us the key. If you can calm the survival brain, the language brain comes back online.
Yes, 3 steps. Each one targets a different layer of the stress response, and together they form a complete reset that you can use in seconds.
Step 1, slow exhale.
This is the foundational hack. Your nervous system has 2 main modes: activated, which is the stress mode, and calmed, which is the recovery mode. And the single fastest way to switch from activated to calmed is to slow your exhale.
Specifically, breathe out slower than you breathe in. Try a 4-second inhale, then a 6 or 7-second exhale. Just 1 or 2 of these is often enough to start lowering cortisol. The slow exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which physically signals to your brain, we're safe. The threat is over.
And within seconds, cortisol levels start to drop. Blood begins to return to the prefrontal cortex. Broca's area starts to open. Your access to English begins to come back.
And the beautiful thing is you can do this in front of someone without them noticing. You can do it before a meeting starts. You can do it during a question. You can do it while pretending to take a sip of water. Slow exhale is silent, invisible, and powerful.
Step 2, ground in the body. This one is about pulling your attention out of your spiraling mind and into your physical body, because stress thrives on mental spiral. Once you ground in your body, the spiral breaks. And the technique is simple. Press your feet firmly into the floor. Feel the contact. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the chair you're sitting on. Feel your hands resting on the desk. For just a few seconds, become aware of your physical body as a real, solid, anchored thing.
And what happens is the brain registers physical safety. The amygdala calms, the threat response lowers, and again, blood begins to return to the language areas. because your nervous system has just been told you are not in danger. You are in a chair with feet on the ground. You are safe.
This works even in the middle of a conversation, even mid-sentence. A 2-second grounding moment can save the rest of the conversation.
Step 3. Use a recovery phrase.
This is the linguistic hack. When you feel the lockdown happening, you don't fight to find the missing word. Instead, you use a pre-prepared recovery phrase that buys time and signals to your brain that you're okay.
Examples. Let me think about how to put that. Give me 1 second. That's a great question. Let me gather my thoughts. Even something casual like, wait, the word is on the tip of my tongue.
And the magic of these phrases is that they do 2 things at once. They give you breathing room, and they signal to your nervous system that you have a plan, that you're not in free fall, that this moment is recoverable, which itself lowers cortisol.
And we covered some of these phrases in our stalling expressions episode, but here they are not just conversational tools, they are nervous system tools. They literally help close the stress loop and let you come back online.
3 steps. Slow exhale, ground in the body, use a recovery phrase. Together they form a complete biological reset, and the whole sequence takes about 5 to 10 seconds, which is faster than most freezes last anyway.
And here is the most important point. Practice this protocol before you need it. Don't wait until the high-stakes moment to try it for the first time. Practice the slow exhale daily. Practice the grounding. Practice the recovery phrases so that when stress hits in real life, the protocol is already wired in, already automatic, already part of your reflex.
Because the time to learn fire safety is not when the fire starts. The time to learn it is now. And the same is true for nervous system regulation in English. Train it now, use it later.
Okay, let's do a role play. Mark, set the scene. Actually, you set the scene. I'll be the learner.
Okay, the scene is a job interview. You're applying for a position you really want. The interviewer asks you a basic question. Tell me about a project you're proud of. You've prepared for this. You know your answer. You know your English. Until the moment arrives.
Okay, version 1, the lockdown.
Tell me about a project you're proud of.
Yes, I had a project last year. It was about, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. It was a project that, with my team, we did a, what's the word, thing. Sorry, presentation. No, sorry, I forget the word.
And listen to that. The learner has prepared. The learner knows the answer. The learner could give this answer in casual conversation in 30 seconds. But under cortisol, even the simplest words are gone. The brain is in survival mode. Broca's area is locked.
And this is the worst possible moment for it to happen because the interviewer is forming a first impression. And the first impression is this person can't speak.
Now version 2. Same learner, same question, but the protocol kicks in. Tell me about a project you're proud of.
That's actually a great question. Give me 1 second. And in that 1 second, I'm slowly exhaling, feeling my feet on the floor, letting my system come back online. So last year, I led a small project with my team. We were redesigning the way we handled customer feedback. It took us about 4 months, and honestly, the part I'm most proud of isn't the result. It's that the team stayed motivated through some really tough stretches. I think I learned a lot about how to lead through difficulty.
And listen to the difference. Same learner, same project, same English level, but this time the protocol bought them 5 seconds of nervous system recovery. The cortisol started dropping, Broca's area started opening, and the prepared answer flowed out clearly.
And the interviewer, hearing version 2, walks away with a completely different impression. Articulate, thoughtful, confident, even though the learner experienced the exact same internal stress as version 1.
The difference is not in the English. The difference is in the regulation. Same brain, 2 completely different outcomes, because the protocol made the second outcome possible.
Word tour?
Word tour.
First word, cortisol. Cortisol is the main stress hormone in your body. It is released by your adrenal glands in response to perceived threat, and it has a powerful, measurable effect on your brain, including reducing your access to language production.
For example, the reason your English vanishes during high-stakes moments is that cortisol literally reduces blood flow to the language areas of your brain. Repeat, cortisol.
Cortisol.
Next, to override. To override means to take control of something automatic and replace it with a deliberate choice. We've used this word in earlier episodes, and it directly applies here. The nervous system reset is an override of your default stress response.
For example, slow exhaling deliberately is one of the most effective ways to override your body's stress response in real time. Repeat, override.
Override. Next, to deprioritize. To deprioritize means to push something down in importance, to give it less attention or resources. When your brain is in stress mode, it deprioritizes language production in favor of survival functions.
For example, under cortisol, your brain deprioritizes second language access because it considers survival more important than communication. Repeat, deprioritize.
Deprioritize. Next, vigilant. Vigilant means alert, watchful, scanning for danger. The amygdala becomes hypervigilant during stress. It is constantly looking for threats, even when none are actually present.
For example, when stress hits, your amygdala becomes hypervigilant, scanning the other person's face for signs of judgment, which takes resources away from your speaking brain. Repeat, vigilant.
Vigilant. Next, to regulate. To regulate something means to manage it, control it, keep it in balance. Nervous system regulation is the broader name for the kind of work you're doing when you reset your stress response, and it is a key concept in modern psychology.
For example, learning to regulate your nervous system in real time is one of the most useful professional skills you can build, especially when you work or interview in your second language. Repeat, regulate.
Regulate. And finally, to recover. To recover means to return to a previous healthier or stronger state after a period of difficulty. Recovery is exactly what happens when you use the three-step protocol. Your nervous system recovers, your language brain recovers, your confidence recovers.
For example, the whole point of the reset protocol is to help you recover quickly, so that one frozen moment doesn't have to ruin the entire conversation. Repeat, recover.
Recover. 6 words today. Cortisol, override, deprioritize, vigilant, regulate, and recover. And every one of these is a real, modern, useful English word that you'll hear in conversations about psychology, performance, and personal development.
And every one of them captures something specific about how your brain and body respond to stress. Sophie, one final takeaway for everyone watching.
That when your English disappears under stress, you have not failed. You have not lost your English. You have not become bad at it. Your nervous system, doing what it has evolved to do over millions of years, locked the door to your language brain to redirect resources toward what it perceived as survival. The English is still there. The door just closed.
And the door can be reopened with a slow exhale, with grounding, with a recovery phrase, with practice of these tools so they become automatic before you need them most. And the next time you feel that lockdown coming, you will have a plan. You will not be helpless. You will have the science on your side.
And the version of you who freezes in high-stakes English moments is not your real ceiling. That version is your nervous system winning. The version of you who can use the protocol to recover, that is the version that performs your real English under real pressure. And every learner can become that version with practice.
Small challenge before we go. For the next 7 days, practice the 3-step reset and low-stakes moments. Don't wait for a high-stakes one. Use the slow exhale before a casual phone call. Use the grounding before a small meeting. Use the recovery phrases in regular conversations even when you don't need them.
And what will happen is the protocol becomes automatic, wired into your reflexes, so that when the high-stakes moment finally arrives, your nervous system already knows the way back. The reset becomes your default response to stress, not a desperate technique you have to remember.
And come back and drop a comment after the week. Tell us how it went. Did the reset start to feel natural? Did you notice your English coming back faster after small stress moments? We want to hear the results.
Because the goal of this episode is not to help you handle one moment. The goal is to give you a permanent skill, nervous system regulation in your second language, a skill that pays you back every single time you walk into a high-stakes conversation for the rest of your life.
I'm Mark.
I'm Sophie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to look at the biology of what actually happens to your English in the moments that matter most.
Calm the system, recover the words. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.